Shadow. Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of this year's Shadow, which is directed by Zhang Yimou, Zhang Yimou, and it stars a lot of Asian actors, and a lot of them speaking in various Chinese accents. Most of them I don't understand because I watched this movie online and with subtitles. So of course, being a white person, not knowing much about this culture, aside from the more traditionalized material, the thing is about this movie is that I just didn't know much about it. And this, even though it's not historically accurate, I think it's about this two feuding tribes of the Yin and Yang dynasty or something like that. These two warring tribes, not really tribes, but warring factions of empires are constantly at each other, and it involves twins, kings, and assassins, and the people in shadows, and all that. This is an excellent film. I mean, this is an incredible film. I loved every minute of this film. I loved it. It might just be my favorite film of the year. It really is. And what Shadow does so much more differently than any other film is that it undermines the ability of us having any prior knowledge of it. It's historically based, but it's not based on any historical accord or anything like that. Instead, the movie actually just bases it in a very futurized Japan-like era, or I don't know what, essentially. And basically, it gives so much beautiful credence toward this artistic and cinematic direction because it's such a vivid film. It's shot in black and white, except for the blood and the human texture. It's like I'm doing this in video in black and white. And what this movie really does so beautifully well is it knows how to compose a shot. It's a piece of art. It treats film like it's a visual medium, which it is, essentially. Whatever type of method you want to tell it through, whether it's a book or through adaptation or anything like that, it tells it in a beautifully sweeping, beautiful, epic, artistic direction. And every frame of this movie, I could just hang it up on a wall and be like, there's the design of a character's hair, to their costume, to the cinematography, to the practicality of the sets. It all just fits artistically gorgeous. It's not an easy film like that, where it's so good that you kind of feel lifeless watching it, that what challenges you to really see on other sides of the two warring factions, and to see what's really going on between the dynamicism of that and how they're like, no, it's not just between the yin and the yang or the black and white of it, it's within the shadows they can strike, within the close intimacies of how close assassins and these warriors can play within it. That's why you see assassins in the first place fight within the shadows. They aren't facing you head to head in an open battle because in no scenario like that they can lose. But in this movie, they play it in such a beautiful artistic direction. The acting is superb. The acting is just superb for the most part. Everyone performs a hell in this movie. Granted, it never becomes at a point where it's overly done like a TV film or anything like that. It's just done with such an artistic, beautiful direction. And I feel it's so breathless and effortless, and it makes it one of the most striking individualizing films. I feel like every year I find that diamond in the rough, unexpected movie that no one else would have seen. Although it got some buzz because some people did review it. Like 71, Macbeth, last year's Revenge, are like those smaller films and Green Room, which are like those smaller films that many people have seen. And I just went, oh, the genius in these movies. They're so good. And while I do love my own mainstream type of films like Star Wars, the MCU, and the Hobbit stuff and all that, stuff like this just makes me appreciate the film media as a whole. And it really just treats it like a beautiful piece of art. And the action is superb. And while it's just so beautifully and cinematically shot. There's a sense of tragedy to the story. There's a romance which could have been incredibly corny and dumb, but instead it played it with such skill and finesse and an ease to it, which made it so incredible to watch. It really is one of the best films, if not one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. And another movie in addition to that is 13 Assassins from 2010. That's a really great, underrated samurai-esque era of film which I really loved as well. And overall, I just loved Shadow. It's the music and the score plays a big part of this movie. Also, these big guitar things that they cling like that. Even those themselves have a piece to the overall picture that really adds to its incredible beauty to it, and that really makes it such a striking film. Even if there's certain chords that kind of just ding out, and I'm like, what the hell was that? It still kind of amps up the experience to be becoming so traditionalized within its own material that I felt so pleased and it really took me off. Really for me this excuse me. I'm still so tired, but it's just such a beautiful film. It's one of my it's just a great damn film. It's a near masterpiece in my mind. My only real flaw with it is that I would say the first 45 minutes are, again, are for the most part, I would say, are a bit slow, but not slow towards your what the hell's going on here. It's a little. I will say that the story itself is a little confusing and it's a little confusing and or overly complex. And I will say the first 45 minutes in my mind are at the very least a little too slow. It's kind of it's like a bit of a burn of a movie for the first 45 minutes in the movie. It's like, where's the story coming? What's this leading up towards and all this? And I'm like, okay, what's going on? But on a second viewing, I can kind of forgive it because I know where it's leading towards. Excuse me. And it's so superbly acted, and the riveting drama for what remains within the film makes it such a great watch. So, yeah, I do think the first 45 minutes are a bit slow, but they're so beautifully acted and shot that I can kind of forgive it on a second or third watching. But aside from that, I do think the story itself is a little too convoluted by the end of all things, but again, I think it's a near masterpiece in my mind. Those are my only two comments with the movie. I love this movie. I'm going to give Shadow a 94%. It's a near masterpiece in my mind, and it's just so superbly acted, beautifully shot, extraordinary action and cinematography. It's one of the best films of the year that you haven't seen, and I would suggest searching it out if you can. Either it's here, either it's online, which like how I saw it, or in the theater near you. I would love to see if you've seen this movie. I'd love to know what you thought of it. As always, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Till then, thank you very much for watching as always. Until then, bye. 95%. 95%. Peace. Or, like in the movie, found balance within the yin and the yang, and learn everything is not within the black and white spectacle of everything, except the view of this world is in a gray.